It could be one of the biggest scandals in the history of the United States. The journalism industry, all of that legacy media, perhaps lifted up for decades by the feds. Now, however, it's looking like we may never get the justice and information they dread. Why? Well, because USAID is busy purging and destroying the documents in plain sight. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a joy to be joined with you, an attitude of gratitude every time you decide to come on by. And folks, we're so happy that you're here. As we get ready to get started, consider clicking the like button. And if we have not yet earned your subscription, well, that's what we are aiming for with yet another video of excellence. Here we go. All right, folks, let's talk about cages for a minute. The U.S. government is, well, they might need some cages. We'll see what the article says. But you remember how we've been discussing that the USAID, which is cleverly named and is not necessarily about giving aid, but it's called USAID, how it was doing this perhaps giant slush fund that was keeping journalists and legacy media rolling, even though people were not rolling in as subscribers and supporters and consumers. Well, it turns out that USAID, that they have been up to some stuff. We've got an update on it, though. Here's what it says. DOJ says USAID staffers were not ordered to shred or burn classified documents as Trump dismantles agency officially. Now, remember, we were told that they were destroying everything. We're going to get to it. We're going to explain what's going on. Here's the article. It's out of the New York Post by Emily Crane and Josh Christensen. The Department of Justice has batted down accusations of document destruction at the U.S. Agency for International Development after an internal agency directive apparently ordered the burning and shredding of classified records as the Trump administration forges ahead with dismantling the agency. Now, pay close attention to this, okay? Because it may not be so clear. This is very messy, and it may point to a future where we can't track down where this money was going and which organizations like Politico and others, the New York Times, who was getting the money and who had how much money and all that. Hang tight. Let's explain it. Wow. It says attorneys for the Justice Department claimed that the one out-of-context email reported on Tuesday created a misapprehension that an indiscriminate purge was taking place. Trained USAID staff sorted and removed classified documents in order to clear the space formerly occupied by USAID for its new tenant. The removed classified documents had nothing to do with this litigation. Notice that it's about litigation that they're clarifying, not that there were documents that were not removed. I know that's a little bit messy. Let me say it again. They're not saying that documents are still there. They're saying that the removed documents had nothing to do with litigation, but that's not the question we have. Continuing on. They were copies of documents from other agencies or derivatively classified documents where the originally classified document is retained by another government agency and for which there is no need for USAID to retain a copy. Except, folks, that if the other agencies have this as a redundant copy, but if the primary was held by USAID, this is going to make this into a giant spider web where it's almost impossible to go to all these agencies and figure out where USAID was sending this money via the other U.S. agencies. It says any documents pertaining to current classified programs were retained, as were all personnel records, and any document that must be retained under the Federal Records Act. The attorney added that USAID would also inform associations for foreign service officers or officers and contractors who are suing the agency before destroying any more documents. In other words, they're going to stop now. But all of this is messy. And the way that the media is reporting this, and remember that the media has some sort of, they have a intrinsic desire, one might say, to downplay this. The way the media is now framing it is that, oh, no, they're not destroying stuff. And then you read the articles and they are destroying stuff. It's just couched in this very complicated language. But that may be in order to hide where the money was going in terms of Politico, New York Times, Disney, etc. We're not claiming anything unethical. We're not claiming anything illegal. I'm just saying that there may be an effort underway to obscure what could be one of the biggest scandals in terms of media that we've ever seen. Panel, what say you about this?
There's no scandals or corruption in the media or government. What are you talking about, Pro?
What are you smoking, Pro? What are you smoking, Pro?
I'm sorry. This is out of my wheelhouse, so I had to make a joke.
Well,
No,
someone who has it in their wheelhouse is Culture Casino. He knows everything about it. Culture, tell us what's going on here. Is this a cover-up or is this legit? Is it another New York FBI field office?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, you pin the tail on that donkey, and there's a ton of donkeys that have been doing some bad things, sending money places that, they could create their own little piles of cash, little slush funds. And that's what's been happening here. It's pretty obvious they're using the language of confusion, which they do so well. Neo-Marxists are great at that. But specifically, these folks here are... they're just lying. They've been lying for a long time. They've been getting paid off in various different ways to present news from one angle. The AP is still the biggest dog in the hunt right now, because they are still couching stories as negatively as possible for the current administration, rather than the uplifting news that we've been hearing about inflation falling and other things like that. But and again, you look at organizations that are funded by these NGOs, and you're going to find they've got to cover these up. There's so much stink on this. I mean, it couldn't take a dog to track it. So I've been looking at it, and I'm feeling like the only way they can hide this is with the doublespeak that they use, and that's exactly what's been happening here.
We're not deleting these documents that we're deleting.
No, these documents also exist over here.
Right.
So don't look over here.
They exist in a cubby in Montana, in a U.S. agency you've never heard of, and will never tell you where you can find it. But there's somewhere else.
Look at my beautiful assistant, Pro. That's what's happening. Look at my beautiful assistant over there. Because Magic Trick, don't pay attention to where I'm doing this stuff.
That's right. Let me read what the original email said. Here's the original email. It says, thank you for your assistance in clearing out our classified safes and personnel documents, which is exactly the opposite of what they're saying is happening. Began the email, which bore a USAID logo. Shred as many documents first. Burn bags for when shredder becomes unavailable or needs a break. Like if you overload the burners and the incinerators, if we can't handle it anymore, if the mobile crematories can't keep going, then put them in burn bags as fast as you can. Get the diesel culture.
Oh, no, you need it. You need a diesel-powered shredder over there, pronto. Yeah. I mean, look, again, at my company, we used to have to bring in these giant trucks, shredders, because documents older than 7 years, we didn't have to hold on to anymore. So they would bring in this giant thing, and seriously, it sounded like a tree mulcher, right? One of those things on the side of the road, and they'd fire that thing up, and then all our documents would go in these bins, and bins would dump in there, and it was like paper shred fest. And that's, right. I guarantee they got like 4 of those right now.
And yet the DOJ, and who knows, it's hard to track at this point. Like, is this coming from Pam Bondi? Is this coming from rogue agents? We don't know. The DOJ says USAID staffers were not ordered to shred, burn classified documents. The whole deal, though, is, folks, it is a massive scandal when it comes to how the media, for maybe decades, was receiving funds to make sure that your free speech and the narratives that were officially propagated and promulgated all over the web, that they were curated by the government. And it may be, we don't want to say definitively, but it looks like, it has the appearance of, it has the smell and the stink that they're on the brink of covering the whole thing up. Vash?
I don't know what's going on with Pam Bondi and the DOJ right now. I don't know why they're suggesting to bail out USAID, apparently, especially with an internal email here that it may have indicted them in a big way. Apparently, this email was brought out in court documents, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes. I mean, how they wind up in those court documents? Why, if they weren't relevant, why were they relevant here in this instance, not in that instance? Is all a big just to do. I don't know what is going on. I mean, we have within the FBI. Within the FBI, Kash Patel has now instructed that there be a direct line to President Trump, which is bypassing Pam Bondi and what's ever going on there. That's a big, all huge thing. Then we have maybe FBI agents tipping off targets and ICE raids and so forth. And apparently we were going to, press charges there. Hasn't really happened to a degree that at least I've seen from the media. And then what? We're still waiting on classified documents in a certain case out of New York to be revealed, as we were waiting this entire one of these entire streams actually for that reveal, and those documents still haven't made it to the surface. So I don't know what's going on with Pam Bondi and her DOJ right there, but they're obviously playing games.
Right, and it's so funny. It's so funny to me, and we can't say for sure, folks, because it's behind the fog of government, right? The Trump administration could be behind this, and it could be all good. It could be nefarious. We don't know. But I find this so funny that if we go over here to Politico was one of the ones getting the USAID money.
Yeah.
Politico's reporting on it. USAID official tells staffers, shred and burn your documents. But it's not real. This was by Falim Kane and Nahal Tusi. But it's just so interesting to me. Politico, that was on the dole, apparently, of the U.S. government, now reporting on said U.S. government cutting the funding and maybe cutting the documents that would show what Politico was up to. Don't know, folks. Don't know. We're just putting it out there because it is of great interest. And should this turn out to be a scandal and a massive cover-up, well, we would like to have said that we were there and that we gave you the information so that you can decide for yourself. Could it be that the Trump administration is simply trying to clear out classified documents that are redundantly placed in other places? Sure, absolutely. But we're going to bring it to your attention because it deserves attention, because billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars were being paid to control speech across the web. And that, I think, needs to be exposed fully and not covered up in any way. Panel, final thoughts.
You nailed it. I look. There is no doubt. There's proof positive that that's what was being done. You have these extraordinarily expensive subscriptions that nobody in their right mind would purchase except these government entities, and it amounts to an advanced search engine that they can use. I mean, give me strength. But when you look at those kinds of things, and you recognize just the kind of corruption and control that was being placed by a shadow government, which nobody denies at this point. And if you want more on that, go watch Benny Johnson. He's been doing a lot on the shadow government. But it's been an enlightening experience for most of America at this point, who couldn't possibly have conceived that they've been manipulated by the media and the government in concert for the last 22.
What are you talking about?
years.
The media is completely honest.
Oh, sure.
There is no corruption,
Sure.
no ulterior motives at all.
No, not at all.
I, for one, think that they all mean well.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Tyler, I love your song, man, but what?
I know I've been pretty quiet on this one, but I just want to throw in my treatise on the idea here.
Oh wow.
Taxation,
using big words. Treatise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Taxation is theft.
It's true.
Pulling Hollyweird to the sensible center, the mainstream middle where money is made is not easy, but folks, you make it easy to make videos each and every day, because sharing time with you is a great honor, and we never take it lightly. An attitude of gratitude every single time we have the chance to shine with you. Until the next time, we only ask that you click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, don't worry about paying any kind of tuition for this free class and how entertainment works. You are on scholarship. Highest IQ on the internet. That's you for sure. Until the next time we have the opportunity to spend time together, folks, we just ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.